A 2-minute haircut costs $40. 300 years ago it cost your life. The barbershop wasn't always about hair. In medieval Europe, barbers were surgeons. They pulled teeth, lanced boils, bloodlet patients, all in the same chair where you'd get shaved. The red and white striped pole outside, that's not decoration. It's a visual ledger, red for blood, white for bandages. The barber pole is a warning label that survived its original purpose by 4 centuries. This matters because it explains why barbershops became trusted spaces. When barbers stopped being surgeons, when actual doctors finally professionalized in the 1700, barbershops didn't vanish. They transformed. They became social hubs, gathering places. In colonial America, the barbershop was where news traveled, deals were made, and a man's appearance signaled his status. Exhibit 1. The barbershop became an economic engine precisely because it solved a recurring problem. Men's hair grows continuously. It never stops. Unlike buying a suit or a house, a one-time transaction, a haircut is a subscription model disguised as a service. Every 4 to 6 weeks you return. That's built-in recurring revenue before SaaS was even a concept. Exhibit 2. The barbershop scaled because it required almost nothing to start. A chair, scissors, a mirror, a broom, no inventory, no spoilage, no supply chain risk. A barber could set up shop in a rented corner, trade labor for rent, and turn profit immediately. This is why barbershops exist on nearly every corner in every neighborhood on Earth. But here's where the system feedback loop becomes visible. Once barbershops became ubiquitous, they created a secondary market. Suppliers, clippers, razors, shaving cream, pomade, tonics. By the late 1800s, manufacturers realized that every barbershop was a captive customer base. They could sell to the business, and the business would sell to the consumer. Exhibit 3. The barbershop became a cultural identity marker. In the early 1900s, barbershops weren't just places, they were social institutions. Black barbershops in America became centers of community, political organizing, and economic mobility. They were owned by black entrepreneurs in a time when few other business models were accessible. The barber wasn't just cutting hair, he was building wealth. This created a multiplier effect. Barbershops employed people, they paid rent to landlords, they bought supplies from manufacturers, manufacturers built factories, factories hired workers. A simple haircut became a thread in an economic tapestry. By the 1950s, the US barbering industry was worth hundreds of millions. Today, globally, it's worth around $60 billion, but the system wasn't stable. In the 1960s and 70s, a new competitor emerged, the salon. Salons offered more services, coloring, styling, treatments, and marketed themselves as premium. They charged more. They hired employees instead of relying on independent contractors. The barbershop market fractured. Exhibit 4. The barbershop survived by specializing. While salons went upmarket, barbershops doubled down on speed, price, and community. A traditional barbershop could cut hair in 20 minutes for $15 to $20. A salon needed an hour and charged $50 or more. The market segmented. Both thrived, but in different lanes. Then came the 2010s, and the barbershop experienced an unexpected renaissance. A generation of men, millennials, rejected the corporate aesthetic. They wanted beards, fades, undercuts, artisanal grooming. Suddenly, barbershops became cool, Instagram-worthy. Premium barbershops opened in trendy neighborhoods, charging $40 to $80 per cut, and waiting lists stretched months. This wasn't accidental. Barbershops tapped into something deeper, the idea of craft. A barber wasn't just cutting hair, he was a skilled tradesman. The shop wasn't just a business, it was a sanctuary. Social media amplified this narrative. A photo of a perfectly executed lineup or beard trim could reach millions. Barbershops became destinations, not utilities. Exhibit 5. The economics shifted again. A traditional barbershop operates on thin margins, maybe 15 to 20% profit, but a premium barbershop in a major city, 40 to 50% margins, higher rent, higher prices, higher volume. The same basic service, cutting hair, became a luxury product simply by changing the context and the story around it. The system also expanded vertically. Barbershops began selling branded products, their own clippers, razors, balms, beard oils, some franchised. Chains emerged. Corporate barbershop models appeared. The independent barber still exists, but now he competes with brands, with franchises, with subscription services that mail clippers to your home. This fragmentation created new vulnerabilities. When COVID-19 hit in 2020, barbershops closed overnight. No walk-ins, no revenue. Many small shops that couldn't absorb even 2 weeks of losses simply closed. The ones that survived had reserves, online booking systems, or loyal customer bases willing to pay for in-home cuts. The recession revealed the system's fault lines. Today, the barbershop industry sits at a crossroads. Haircutting robots exist in labs. At-home clipper technology improves yearly. Subscription grooming services offer convenience, yet the barbershop persists. Why? Because it solves something that technology still can't: human connection. A barber is part stylist, part therapist, part community anchor. The barbershop survived because it understood something fundamental. Recurring revenue, low barriers to entry, and cultural meaning are more durable than any single innovation. Medieval surgeons became barbers. Barbers became community leaders. Community leaders became brand owners. The business model adapted at every inflection point, so when you pay $40 for a haircut today, you're not just paying for 20 minutes of labor. You're paying for 3 centuries of market optimization, for the real estate it occupies, for the brand reputation built through Instagram, and for the psychological safety of a familiar face. The barbershop is proof that the oldest business models often work best. The barbershop industry didn't explode overnight. It grew because it solved a problem that never goes away, operated on a model that scales infinitely, and adapted whenever the market shifted. That's not luck. That's a system working exactly as designed, and it'll likely outlast every grooming technology we invent in the next 50 years. This video is for educational and informational purposes only and is not financial advice. Always do your own research. Subscribe for a new breakdown of how everyday industries became billion-dollar systems. This video is for educational and informational purposes only and is not financial advice. Always do your own research.